Cat, when you hear, like, sometimes playoff, like, you hear playoff Rondo, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
But Magic Johnson had a situation. Magic Johnson was a 2-time Finals MVP.
Hook shot down the middle for the win.
And in 84, he dribbles out the clock. They go to overtime. They end up losing, and they called him Tragic Johnson. He was no longer Magic. And then when you hear the term, as great as you are in the regular season, you haven't been able to put those same type of numbers for in the postseason, and they like playoff Cat, and they mean it in a derogatory way. How does Cat turn that around? How does Cat, if there is such a thing as a narrative, because we see what you are in the regular season, how does Cat make sure he's that same in the postseason?
Just go out there and do what you do. I mean, you know, everything was good. I felt I was shooting the ball extremely well throughout the whole playoffs, and it was a tough time to have a slump, you know, especially in the Western Conference Finals. But I think just work, just trust the work. Trust the work, you know, it always is going to pay off. You know, never get discouraged by the work you're putting in. You know, if you put the hours in, you could look yourself in the mirror and know that you put exactly the amount of hours plus some needed to be great. You know, you live with the work you put in.
This team, you mentioned Ant.
Rudy,
Jaden
Mike McDaniels,
Conley,
Mike Conley, Kyle Anderson was so amazing for us. You know, sadly we lost him.
If this team, what's going to be? Obviously, success is winning a championship. But if this core, if you guys don't get to the NBA Finals, if you guys don't win, will this be disappointing?
I mean, it would be disappointing for the fact that we made it to Western Conference Finals and we haven't took that next step, which is to make the NBA Finals, you know? It's going to be disappointing. You know, Minnesota deserves a championship. They've been asking for a championship since its inception as a team. So, you know, I've always said I wanted to bring them a championship. I wanted to be part of the championship team that finally brings that ring and that parade down to First Ave. You know, we just got to keep working. I think that you say it's a disappointment. It's something that I think everyone's going to feel the same way if they didn't win a championship. Everyone is a disappointment if you don't come out with a ring out of it.
When you look at, and a lot of people didn't think the Rudy Gobert edition, because you're like, this is not the 90s basketball. You don't really need 2 7-footers. You need a guy.
Well, shit, we got 3 of them almost.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Because the way Cat can play with his back to the basket, he can shoot the 3. And then when you look at Rudy, there are certain situations that you have to take him out of the game. It's just what it is. He's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. He makes a boatload of money. But the facts of the matter is that a lot of times late in the ball game, he's not on the court, Cat. I'm not breaking, this is not interrupting your normally scheduled programming. Breaking news to you, Cat. You know that because you're there. How were you able to put it together this year? Because the first year, it didn't work, Cat. And this year, you made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals.
I think he gets unfair criticisms because he brings a lot to our team that we need.
Right.
Like the defense, I mean, he's a generational defensive player. And around the basket, I think we all could agree in the NBA, against any of the colleagues, if he's around the basket with the ball, you know, he gonna dunk it. You know, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to stop that field goal percentage from going down. So, his first year in Minnesota, it's unfortunate. It's unfair because I think that we weren't at full strength, and I also got hurt. I've never gotten hurt like that. So to be in that situation was, and put him in that situation, you know, it was unfair. And I think that this year, you know, with me healthy coming in and playing a lot of the season healthy, you can see what happens when you put the team around him and we have, you know, the lob opportunities. Me and him have the 4-5 pick and roll was amazing all year. Putting him in spots where he could be, you know, he's super successful on offense and defensively. I mean, you see what he does for our team. So number one team in the NBA in defense, and it's not without Rudy Gobert, especially Jaden McDaniels too. I want to give him a shout out, but without Rudy, we're not going to be nowhere near the same defensive team as we were.
You willing to take a $100+ million pay cut like Jalen Brunson did to keep this thing together?
We can keep it all together. If we can keep it together.
Right.
Show me then. We all got to get in a room and say we're going to do it.
Right.
So, I mean, Jalen Brunson, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
That's a lot. I mean, $10 million, okay.
That's a lot.
$10 million, even, like, okay.
Hey, but you know what? You can't put a value on the fact that he's at where he wants to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big value number that no one's thinking of. He's with his father. He's super comfortable. He has a team that believes in him. I think that belief that a team and organization could give you is something. It's worth a lot of money, and they give him that belief, and I think that he felt that was the best situation for him, and I root him on for that.
How is that man as a teammate? We see the charisma. We see the charm.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yes.
He's outgoing.
Yes.
All the
Very
players.
Atlanta.
Oh, bro. We saw him at the Olympics.
Yeah.
He talking to Steph. So, but Steph ain't showed up for the last 3 days, but I'm glad he showed up when I'm glad he showed up when he did. That's Ant.
Yeah.
What's he like on and off the court?
I mean, on the court, you see what he is. He's a competitor, fierce competitor. He loves competing. He loves, he's one of those guys when you play at the park, if you tell him, yo, come to the park, we're going to play basketball, he always show up. Right. He always going to show up, for sure. You know you got a teammate with him.
Right.
So, and off the court, man, it's just, like you said, charismatic, funny, maybe the funniest player on our team. Wow. And we got some funny guys on our team. So, he's one of those guys you really are super appreciative and blessed to be able to be in a locker room with them. They just bring the morale up. And I think that's rare for someone as young as he is, as talented as he is, and what we ask from him every single night, to be able to bring that kind of energy to the locker room. Like Mike Conley said one time, he makes him feel young again.
Right. When you hear Ant, they talk about, well, he could be the next face of the NBA.
I think he can.
He reminds a lot of people of Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about him? What is it about that makes you, and you said it as soon as I was saying it, you're like, he can. What makes you so sure?
Well, before we get to that, I think what we need to also understand is, I know he reminds people a lot about Jordan, but why not just Ant? Mm-hmm. He could be the first Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
I don't
which ain't bad.
Which ain't bad at all. Which ain't bad at all.
Yeah.
Well, he say, yeah, third.
Yeah.
So, I think he has the charisma. Age is on his side. Mm-hmm. He has the athleticism. And
he got better at shooting the ball.
He got better at shooting. I think he could do it. And this is a very guard-friendly league, and he's a guard that has not only the skill but the intangibles needed to really be the face of the NBA for years to come. And I think that he got good vets around him, and Mike Conley's been amazing for him. So
right.
I think he could do it. I think he could really do something special. And I think what also could help is winning. And we've shown winning, starting to do that. So if we can win at the highest level, what can you can't tell Ant nothing.
Right.
So imagine you put a ring too with a championship. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Oh man, we can't tell him nothing.
Cat, of all the teammates that I've seen you have in the NBA, and I'm on the outside looking in, I don't know this to be true, but it just seems to me, you have the best relationship with him.
Yeah.
And you take criticism, you take coaching, you take praise from him better than any other teammate. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I apologize. What is it about him and your relationship that you're so accepting of the advice, the input that he gives you?
I just want to help him grow in every single facet of his game, not only his game, but his life. I want to help him be a better man. I want to help him be a better, to his brothers, a better brother. I want to be able to help him the ways I feel that sometimes I couldn't get that help. Because, I was in a situation. I know how it feels to be him in that situation. Number one pick, whole state asking you to help save him and help him bring a championship home. And I just wanted to be a support system for him any way possible I could. So I want to help him grow, and I think in helping someone achieve their full potential, and something that I feel that I'm going to continue to work not only as a leader, but just helping him as a brother.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because we like to do something before 2 something.